And finally, new rule, the Fox News editors who each week highlight one thing I say about the Democrats that fits their narrative and then completely ignores all the shit I say about Republicans might want to go ahead and turn the TV off right now. Because we are now only 7 months away from midterm elections that are poised to make the Republicans much more powerful. So attention must be paid to where the Republican Party is right now. You'd think, with the left going a little loony over the past few years, Republicans would have seen an opening to grab the sensible center. But no. Former Republican governor of Ohio and anti-Trumper presidential candidate John Kasich said of his party in 2019, "Sometimes you've got to let the fever break." And I think we have a fever, and it's going to break. But it didn't break. And it's not a fever, it's more like a tumor. And tumors don't go away, they get worse. Normal Republican crazy, where you just shoot guns at things you don't like in your campaign ads. Yeah. Even that shit doesn't even cut it anymore. The new crop are such a bunch of foaming at the mouth Kraken releasers that Clarence Thomas wants to marry them. I look back at the Republican class of 2010 because that year, I remember, has been held up as an example of Republican kookiness gone wild. Remember Christine O'Donnell? Oh, she had been a frequent guest on my old show, a very sweet, sincere, Jesus-freak conservative who then ran for the Senate, at which time I played some highlights from her appearances on Politically Incorrect, and the media seized on Christine's statement that she had dabbled in witchcraft, as if it was the craziest thing a Republican would ever say. Congressman Todd Akin, around the same time, caused a media firestorm when he said that in cases of legitimate rape, the female body has ways to try to shut that whole thing down. And Indiana Senate candidate Richard Murdoch concurred, saying even when a life began in rape, it was something God intended to happen. Both had to go away. But if a Republican congressman said the same thing today, would they have to? I doubt it, since now what they said is literally the party's active legislative agenda in multiple states. And I used to think Rick Santorum was weird for wearing a sweater vest. In 2009, it was a big deal when Congressman Joe Wilson yelled out, "You lie," during Obama's State of the Union address. But this year, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert repeatedly interrupted Biden at his State of the Union. Look at them. Excuse me, Karen. The president is talking. It's not a black kid you caught trying to use the pool. No, you can't have another skinny margarita, and if you don't sit down, this flight is never getting to Orlando. For all of you who get frustrated because Manchin and Sinema don't vote like true liberals, because they never were, or think Trump is as bad as it's going to get, remember the first rule of modern Republican politics. They always go lower. Because this party has no bottom, unless you count Lindsey Graham. The kooky Republicans of the 2010 era wouldn't even make the cut today for extremism. And the ones today aren't even as bad as the ones in the wings. Where do you see the incoming group of Facebook uncles, crazy Karens, and submental shit posters coming up? Herschel Walker, Senate candidate in Georgia, who freely admits he has a dozen personalities, none of whom you'd want to sit next to at a wedding, recently came out against evolution, saying science said man came from apes. If that's true, why are there still apes? Think about it. You first. And also think about this. If Honey Nut Cheerios came from Cheerios, why do we still have Cheerios? Think about it. Alaska Senate candidate Kelly Tshibaka speaks in tongues, otherwise known as jabbering senselessly. This is her. Take a listen. Pathetic. Pathetic. Like the people of Alaska would even vote for some dim-witted religious nut. Nevada State Treasurer candidate Michelle Fiore is called Lady Trump and has some interesting policy ideas like, quote, arming young, hot little girls on campus so they can kill rapists. Maybe they can start a sorority, Delta Busta Kappa. On the topic of Syrian refugees, Michelle Fiore said, I'm about to fly to Paris and shoot him in the head myself. I'm okay with putting them down, blacking them out, and ending their miserable life. What was Bush's catchphrase? Compassionate conservative? Former Missouri Republican governor and now Senate candidate Eric Greitens is a sociopath whose ex-wife says he beat her and the kids, and who resigned the governorship after being charged with tying up a woman he was having an affair with in his basement, taking nude pictures of her and threatening to blackmail her if she told anyone. As governors do. And look at these two Neanderthals almost coming to blows during a debate. And they're both Republicans. It was so over the top, the crowd filed out in disgust. I'm joking, of course. They couldn't have eaten it up more if it were deep fried. And my favorite, the Republican running against AOC in the Bronx, is Tina Forte, a self-described viral political influencer who's happy to sell you a T-shirt that says, I could shit a better president. That is, when she's not busy campaigning on her way to the gym.
You have the balls to debate me. We can do it on fucking pay-per-view, bitch. Huh? How do you like that, motherfucker? Fuck out of here.
What are they serving at the Republican convention these days? Bath salts? If the GOP still had a platform, which they don't, but if they did, it would be fuck you. You think the Republicans of 2010 were kooks? This crowd looks at those people like, please, they've never even masturbated on a subway.